Either proceed with the bill before us or risk Donald Trump throwing America into the chaos of a shutdown. This, in my view, is no choice at all. While the CR bill is very bad, the potential for a shutdown has consequences for America that are much, much worse. For sure, the Republican bill is a terrible option. It is not a clean CR. It is deeply partisan. It doesn't address far too many of this country's needs. But I believe allowing Donald Trump to take even much more power via a government shutdown is a far worse option. And before I explain why, let me be clear about one thing. No one on my side of the aisle wants a government shutdown. Members who support this CR do not want a government shutdown. Members who oppose this CR do not want a government shutdown. Members who oppose this CR want the Republicans to take their responsibilities more seriously and to negotiate spending bills that will address the many needs of the American people.
Chuck Schumer just came to the floor and said that they're willing to shut down the government because Senate Republicans didn't work with them on a CR. Now, remind you, what a CR means is a continuing resolution. It means it's the same CR that they voted for in September when Biden was in office, the same CR that they voted for in December when Biden was in office, and now that Trump's in office, they're saying they're willing to shut down the government. I can't understand what they're doing. They can't even make sense themselves. How do you not support the same level of spending that they supported from the last president to this president, other than the just pure hatred of Trump?
As you saw from the intro, Chuck Schumer warned about what will happen if a government shutdown happened, right? Schumer's shutdown looms as Dems plan to block GOP spending bill. Now, there's a lot of, gotchas that's coming out. There was clips of people showing, and this is the funny part about social media and X, and I think one of the reasons why it's the best platform to get news is that it's so easy to find receipts. It's so easy to find flashbacks. It's so easy to find things these politicians was just saying moments ago. And he talks about how, should we might have to shut down the government because technically this is the only leverage that Democrats have. But the problem with that is Schumer's own government shutdown warning comes back to haunt him. So what changed, Chuck? And the funny part is a lot of conservatives been coming out, as you saw from the intro, pointing out how, hey, it's the same damn CR you passed before. So why you not want to pass it now? And the pressure has mounted because many people, with Democrats threatening to force a partial government shutdown, Schumer is being confronted with a warning he delivered just last year. The rapid response account on X from Donald Trump's White House posted on Thursday a flashback clip of Schumer's remarks from September, which is what you saw in my intro. And this has gotten, it put so much pressure on Schumer that he eventually caved. And now you have some Democrats who are pissed off about it, right? And I want to show you a clip of AOC essentially calling in a very passive way, the Democrats, they can never be direct. In a passive way, based on everything she said, she called Chuck Schumer weak. Let's take a look.
And I cannot urge enough how bad of an idea it is to empower and enable Donald Trump and Elon Musk in this moment. It is dangerous and it is reckless.
Well, you just talked about the strength of your leadership. Chuck Schumer just said that he's going to vote for cloture. Not only the Democrats can do it, but he's going to participate in it. Does that mean that you think he's a weak Senate leader?
I think that would be a mistake. But we have time between now and tomorrow, and I hope that individuals that are considering that reconsider it. I genuinely do. I don't think it's what New Yorkers want. I don't think it's what the country wants. This is genuinely not about Democrats or Republicans. This is about deep cuts to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. This is about the evisceration of the federal government. This is about codifying the looting that is happening at the behest of Elon Musk in order to pay for his tax breaks for billionaires. And we have a responsibility to stand up for it. That is why people elected us, and that is our responsibility to them right now.
And this is some of the things that, Democrats may be complaining about their leadership, but it's everybody. AOC, even Jasmine Crockett. Like, you guys, this is so performative. Elon Musk, here's his retweet. You can see the ridiculous political puppet show for what it really is. They're just actors reading a script. About 50 House Democrats just posted the exact same talking point word for word. And this is like, they cave, right? Obviously, they're gonna vote for the CR. Not every Democrat like it. Here's Greg Foreman. Democrats are imploding. It is clear some of us don't understand the present danger and some don't. I stand by the no vote on the blank check for Trump and Elon. And this is this narrative they keep putting out, like somehow Trump and Elon needs money. When the funny part about all this is they want to cry, oh, it's not cutting enough taxes from the millionaires and the billionaires. But Democrats don't want to confront with the fact that they use the tax money that they get from the millionaires and billionaires. This is why they're so mad. It's because tax cuts, right? It means less money that they'll be able to enrich themselves with. That's how I honestly take it. And the funny part is, like, leftists, these progressive types, they love to castigate capitalists as robin barons. But the true robin barons are the socialists, are the progressives themselves. Because you're mad that you can't take more of other people's money just because they have way more money than you. You didn't work for that money. You wasn't with them reading the balance sheets for that money. You didn't work for that money. Your abilities didn't produce that money, but you feel entitled to tax these people because they happen to be more successful than you. And this is why people call the tactics and the position of the leftists as an ideology based on envy and jealousy. This is what is happening in a massive scale. We are taxed. Tax goes to USAID. Leftists create an NGO. Leftist is funded by the USAID. Leftists in NGO do zero real work. NGO pays leftists huge salary. Leftists donate salaries from NGO to Democrats. It's why Democrats are freaking out over Trump and Elon killing USAID. This is the cycle that many Americans are starting to notice. This is why they get so mad about tax cuts to the rich, because that's less money that they could launder back to themselves. And this whole thing is exposing the Democrats for what it is. Right? They just a party of pure ideology, pure just politics. This is just pure political games. Federal judges issue 15 nationwide injunctions against Trump administration in February alone in just 1 month. That's more nationwide injunctions than there was issued for the first 3 years of Biden's administration. District court judges are out of control. SCOTUS must rein them in. And this is one of the reasons people are saying, like, yo, okay, you have all these problems, but Joe Biden went over and just did student loan forgiveness, even though it wasn't in his constitutional right to do that. Where was the federal judges trying to hold him into accountability? None, because he was a Democrat. And this is a funny part. I don't understand their purpose here. You find Democrats that used to agree with what the Doge people were doing in 2010, just 15 years ago. Chuck Schumer was agreeing with what Trump is trying to do with the government. Do I need to play the clip again?
If we're going to eliminate the waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare, it does mean we're going to cut some of that out.
And because, they want to lower government spending, right? You want to shut down. You want to use the filibuster that you were so against last year. Make it make sense. This is what I'm talking about with Democrats. They do things that's convenient to them. They don't do things that's principled. They're not consistent. They do things that's convenient to them. Last year, when they had the majority, we want to get rid of the filibuster. Now, thank God they didn't get rid of the filibuster, because now they can use it to kind of have some negotiating power here. And even then, they don't have much negotiating power. The media will not show you this video of Schumer and the Democrats claiming what would happen if there was a government shutdown. Since we're the media now, you know exactly what to do.
To the American people if the government shuts down.
One Democrat said to me they feel like they have a mandate from their constituents to shut down the government.
There are some raising the possibility of shutting down the government in March.
We will use whatever power we have, and fundamentally, we're not going to vote for something that undermines the American people.
To withhold votes. Do Democrats have the stomach?
I certainly hope so. I know that.
And as you know, hindsight is 2020. They didn't have the stomach to go through with this, right? And you saw the long list of talking points. They all said, we're going to support the CR. We're going to support the CR. And the funny part is in the intro, the Republican congressman, the young Republican congressman, I forgot his name. Sorry. He talks about how this is the exact same CR you guys voted for just a year ago. What's so different now? Oh, Trump's in office. That's what's different now. You don't want to do supposedly what Trump wants. Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. But he, as you saw, you already get an inkling. Chuck Schumer sparked a lot of outrage out here for his, support of the CR. Changing his mind. So now he's going to be on MSNBC. I bet that was fun. Being questioned about some of his rationale for why he wanted the CR. He now supports the CR to keep it open. So let's take a look at the segment, and then we'll wrap up with my final thoughts.
Let's just start on this. I think there are a lot of people watching this right now who are confused about this decision.
Okay.
Or upset by it. So just spell out, just give me your logic, particularly on this sort of on the one hand, on the other. What is the cost you see to the constitutional order of a shutdown that isn't already being done now?
It's a dramatic cost. Here's why, Chris. Under a shutdown, it is the executive branch, in this case, Trump, Musk, Doge, and Vogt, who's head of the OMB, who we all know are authoritarians, vicious, nasty, who would have sole control over what is funded and what isn't.
So what he's saying is that if he let the government shut down, this is his rationale. You're giving Trump more power to do what he's already trying to do. If the government is funded, Democrats can continue being in opposition, right? And this is the funny part with Jasmine Crockett when she does this little, it's for show. What's the substance behind that? What's the purpose of you voting no, right? And this is what I'm talking about with intentionality. Some of these Congress people I see, like the AOC types, it seems like they use Congress almost like a platform for fame, right? But Schumer, whether I agree with him or not, he makes a plausible argument. If my whole thought process, right? If Democrats truly believe that their constituency wants them just to oppose Trump, then based on that motive, opposing Trump, hey, would I make a decision where I'll give Trump more power over cutting funding for the government, more power to manage the government if it's partially shut down? I'd rather vote. And I think this is why a lot of Democrats supported the CR, along with Schumer, because they see this as okay, this is the worst, this is the least worst option from their political lens, right? Libertarians, they're happy as hell. They every government shutdown, libertarians are always happy. I noticed that, but I digress. Let's continue with the clip.
Get to determine what is a, quote, essential service. And they will just cut to smithereens, far greater than in the CR bill, which is a lousy bill.
Like imagine a rock in a hard place. Imagine that. You are the ones holding back the CR. So if a shutdown does happen, you get the blame, and Trump also gets to make decisions on what is considered essential funding. Chef's kiss. And now you see rationally why Chuck Schumer folded. You see why he folded. Damn, the American people is going to blame the Democratic Party for the government shutdown, which would have gave Republicans more leverage. And Trump gets to decide what is essential funding and what gets shut down, what doesn't get shut down. The Democrats are like, nah, we got to vote for the CR.
Far greater than that, what could be funded and what couldn't. And there's no recourse. You can't go to court. This is a decision totally in the executive branch. And so it would be devastating. Why is it that Elon Musk and Donald Trump want a government shutdown? So they can take control of the government and do their vicious, horrible things. They could cut half the government. They could tell employees you're not essential and never bring them back, permanently firing them. It's a disaster. And in a few weeks, if there was a shutdown, everyone would be complaining and howling. Why did they eliminate SNAP? Why did they cut so much of Medicaid? But they could do all that on their own. That's the problem. There is no check on them with a shutdown. That's not to say this CR bill is a good bill. It isn't. It didn't have any safeguards in it. but it would be much, much worse to have a shutdown. And my job, Chris, as leader, is to see things a little bit ahead down the road and see how horrible this would be and alert people to it.
So
they think all these government jobs are essential, but the funny part is they don't want to focus on outcomes. Like, look at the outcomes these government regulations, these government things have given the American people. There's no way you can justify funding them. And it's so funny that the only reason they're going with the CR is in some way they trying to like rationalize it as some type of way of slowing Trump down. Just like these federal judges that's issuing all these injunctions against Donald Trump. Everything they do is just to oppose Trump. They're not trying to work with Trump. They're not trying to find a solution with Trump. Even though 15 years ago, Chuck Schumer would have agreed to cut something out of Medicare because Medicaid or Medicare, I don't know, what do you want to call it? Because there's some waste there, there's some fraud there that could lower the total budget for it, but it still be just as effective as it was before. Now all of a sudden, oh no, he's trying to cut essential workers. Everyone's an essential worker. Department of Education overseeing the worst quality of education in the world, but they're essential. We shouldn't be firing them. Yeah, okay. Department of Education is the poster child of the main problem I see with a lot of these government departments. You overseeing the worst education in the world, one of the worst education systems in the world, and you don't propose any changes. You're supposed to be oversight. You're supposed to be managerial. You're supposed to be administrative. But you're not really doing any administrating. It's mostly overseeing, maintaining, and somehow you do things that always benefit you. Oh, we're going to put all these social justice stuff in the school curriculum. Oh, we're going to get funding for this. For what? Since the creation of the institution of the Department of Education, we went from being the #1 education system in the world, spending less money, to being one of the worst. And we spend the most. Make it make sense. You spend the most money to get a bad result. Any common sense individual will tell you, yeah, we got to cut that. We got to stop doing this ish. It's not working. It's not effective. And Democrats can't admit that because Donald Trump's the one saying it. Donald Trump's the one pushing it. And this is why I think a lot of people are starting to tune out the Democratic Party. But that's just my thoughts. I want to hear yours in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Please share the video if you feel so inclined. It also helped me out in the algorithm. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.